What's going on, everyone? So, the Los Angeles Lakers losing Mark Williams is a huge blow. I mean, technically, you never had him. So, how big of a blow is it? But, he was a guy that was supposed to come in and not only be like the reason it hurts more than anything is because he was supposed to be the long term option, too, right? Like, 23-year-old, potential all star caliber center coming in to pair with Luca for the next 10 years. Like, that would have been ideal, right? Like, that would have been best case scenario. And unfortunately, now you don't have that option. But the Lakers, I still think, are like Mark Williams wasn't like the be all end all, right? Mark Williams would and very likely would have been very good for the Lakers, but it's not like he's the savior, right? He wasn't coming in to be the guy. Like he still is 23 years old, still questions about his defense and stuff like that, right? I did a whole video breakdown of Mark Williams. Right? I don't want to undersell Mark Williams because I do think he would have made a huge impact. We definitely were better with him than we are now without him, and I definitely think he moves the needle enough to very likely make us a contender. But at the end of the day, it boils down to Luka and LeBron, right? However far we go is not because Mark Williams is on the team. It's because Luka and LeBron are just that transcending, that good, and that talented, right? Most of the conversation around Mark Williams was, wow, Luka's going to make him look so good, right? So I'm still very confident, but it is hurt. It is a big blow, right? Now, obviously, you have, the buyout market in which you could get a guy. Problem is like, who is that guy? There's not really a ton of options available. There's not a ton of guys that are out there that's like, oh yeah, that's the answer, or this is the answer, or he's the answer, right? Like, anybody that you're signing is likely going to be, a backup or probably best as like a third string center that now you're going to have to plug in as like your starting center. Not a great position, right? Not a great spot to be in, but you got to do what you got to do. Maybe you get lucky. One of these centers on one of these other teams see this and go like, hey, I could go to the Lakers and be the starter, right? I could go to the Lakers and get 30 minutes a night. Maybe one of these players like really try to push a buyout and request the buyout so that way they could go to Lakers. Fingers crossed, maybe, right? You never know. But more likely than not, you're running with Jackson Hayes. I imagine the Lakers are going to be very patient. I imagine the Lakers are going to take their time as far as like, the buyout, unless that guy just like becomes available. That's just like, oh, that's a no-brainer. You got to go get him. Like all these other people like Tice and Olynyk and all these names that may or may not become available. Right? I don't think the Lakers are going to be rushing to the door for any of them. Right? Like there's not really that candidate out there that I look at and go like, that's the guy. Like that's the guy the Lakers absolutely have to get. I mean, Jackson Hayes, I don't like the idea of him as your starting center, but he's been solid thus far. I still don't hate the idea of bringing in Trey Jemison, right? I mean, 6'11", 270, big physical interior presence. He's athletic. He can catch the lob and slam it home. He moves his feet well, all of that, right? Like, there's a couple options, but ultimately, Lakers are probably looking at the small ball option more than anything, right? Lakers are probably going to want to have different units, different looks out there with like Rui, LeBron at the center position. Maybe Dorian Finney-Smith at the center position. The beauty of the Lakers, though, especially with Luka now, is you can have a big small ball unit out there, right? And what I mean by that is like, usually a small ball unit comprises of like, 3 guards and then like 2 forwards that are like 6'8", just spreading the floor and running and doing all that stuff, right? Maybe you have like a 6'7" guy in there too or whatever, right? Well, the Lakers case, you could literally go with Luka, LeBron, Jared Vanderbilt, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Rui Hachimura. And Rui, because he has such a good lower center of gravity, he is very strong and physical. Even against like some of these bigger matchups, he can hold his own. And then you could have Vando and Dorian Finney-Smith and LeBron James and Luka out there and just have that size. And, just team rebound. You just, all 5 guys are crashing the glass. All 5 guys are chasing down the balls. All 5 guys are very switchable and can defend 1 through 5. All 5 guys, give you some form of shooting, obviously to lesser degrees. But, they all can, at least spread the floor slightly. Um, I don't hate that idea, right? Where you just basically are run and gun with that unit. You're running 5, 6, 8 guys. I mean, Luka's like 6'6", 6'7". So, but outside of that, everyone else is 6'8" or above, right? And I just think that that is something that can really kind of push. Obviously, if you could get like a Christian Wood back at some point, which at this point, hold your breath, because Christian Wood, at least he's like 6'10", right? He's probably closer. He's probably better as a power forward than he is a center. But again, you only have what you have to work with, right? Maxi Klebo would be nice, but he's probably not playing this year, right? He's supposed to be reevaluated in 8 weeks. Reevaluated does not mean like he'll be back in 8 weeks. Reevaluated just means they're gonna reevaluate him and then make a decision from there. Like Jared Vanderbilt was reevaluated like 12 times in the last year, and it kept getting pushed down the line, pushed down the line, pushed down the line, right? And Kleba has another year on his deal, so he's probably not gonna want to like jeopardize like his future, right? Like so again, it's a tough spot to be in if you're the Lakers. But I do think the small ball unit, the small ball lineup is probably your best bet. Small ball unit is probably your best opportunity to try to get some competent version out there, right? Like, look, you're going to be very good offensively, right? It's just, can you pick up the defensive intensity and can you rebound as a team? Can, you collectively together all crash the glass, crash the board, and make sure you're handling business, right? And then, during the regular season, you'll probably still see Trey Jemison, you'll probably still see Christian Koloko, right? Like, certain matchups, I think you can get away from. Like, the only thing you really need the center for, or like a true center, is like the Jokic matchup, the Edey matchup, right? Like, Triple J, you could probably get away with like Dorian Finney-Smith or whatever on him, right? Like there's certain matchups that I think, depending on how they shape up or who you end up playing in the playoffs, I think you're fine, right? And there's certain teams that you'll still be able to match up with, right? You'll still be able to handle. The Lakers, look, yeah, it's frustrating, right? This hurts. I don't want to like undersell this, but I don't think it's Chicken Little, the sky is falling, right? I don't think it's the end of the world. I don't think it's like, oh my God, now what? Like, I think the Lakers are fine. I think the Lakers will figure it out. I think the Lakers will work it out, right? You're still going to be explosive offensively. Defensively, we've seen that. I mean, again, Lakers are 12 games over 500. They're on a 5-game win streak, and like 4 of those games have been without Anthony Davis, who was your center and defensive anchor. Right? And you have some very good and notable wins, right? Even Indiana. They were like the hottest team in the league the last month. Right? Like, so you're on like you're in really good position. Right? It's not ideal. You're not in the ideal position. You're in a position where it's like, man, like it's going to be a little stressful at some nights. And some nights you're going to be at a major disadvantage. But all teams have those holes. All teams have those flaws. Luckily, you have such versatile wing depth, right? With size. You have Jared Vanderbilt. You have Dorian Finney-Smith, who can rebound and crash the glass and, just be those hustle guys, do the dirty work, right? You have Rui, who is a big, strong, physical power forward that can, match up. I mean, he was even holding his own against Jokic. You're never going to stop a guy like Jokic, but, it's just like, can you apply the pressure, right? Can you be physical? Can you handle business everywhere else, right? Can you, as a team, collectively do what you need to do? I think the Lakers will be fine, right? I think you have units out there with LeBron, Luka, Dorian, Jared Vanderbilt, and then, you could have at times Rui. You could have times Austin Reeves. You could have times, if Christian Wood comes, Christian Wood, right? Like, I think you'll be fine, right? It would have been nice to have a center, honestly. Jackson Hayes, I still think, maybe now he'll have a little more confidence. Right? I mean, he's a high energy, high motor guy regardless, but maybe you can look to him to have a little more confidence, a little more stability. I'm not big on him as your starting center. That's my problem. I'm not like, Like, I don't look at him and like, oh, that's the guy that, yeah, like, just stick with him. Like, I'd rather go with Trey Jemison because at least he's 270, 6'11". But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass question. You let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? What do you make of the Lakers and the small ball? Do you think, yeah, the small ball, you'll survive. You'll be able to get through it with the small ball. Do you think, nah, like, that ain't fixing anything. That ain't solving anything. However you feel, whatever your thoughts are. Either way, I would love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.